Let's talk luxury dive watches. I said luxury dive watches. Perfection. Hi everyone and welcome to Shaluso, and yes, today we are talking about probably the definitive luxury dive watch, and that is the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Offshore Diver. It's important to make the distinction between what is truly a luxury dive watch, because things like the Submariner, the Planet Ocean, these are all really tool watches that have just become luxurious. Something like the Royal Oak Offshore was designed from the beginning to be a luxury product that was made useful, not a useful product that was made luxurious. And it's similar to what Audemars Piguet did in the 70s when they introduced the original Royal Oak. They introduced a luxurious watch that just happened to be useful and versatile, but it was still a luxury product first and foremost, and this was reflected in its finishing and its build quality. And the story is the same for the Offshore Diver. It was a 300 diving version of Audemars Piguet's sequel to the Royal Oak, which was of course the 93 Offshore. Now the Offshore created this segment of oversized big luxury watches, and then the Offshore Diver was that spin-off that carried it one step further and really invented this segment of luxury divers. There's not really much else this side of a Richard Mille that can genuinely compete. Most things go for the same sort of approach of having a historical tool watch that's been pimped out over the years to give it more of a luxury feel and to command a luxury price. Whereas again, this came out of the gate as a luxury watch that just happened to have 300 meters of water resistance, a proper diving bezel, and the versatility that a lot of the other Royal Oaks really just didn't have. The standard Royal Oak, while still having halfway decent water resistance for a watch of its class, isn't something you'd want to hurry to the pool with. Similar case with the chronograph equipped Offshore. However, the Offshore Diver took away all of that. This was something that you could wear every single day because dive watches just give you that confidence that they can weather anything. It's why they're probably the most versatile category of watch, because you really feel like you can take it anywhere and you know that that robustness that it needs to have that high water resistance will probably protect you. In 2021, they released a new update to the Offshore Diver, which really took it to the next level in terms of its versatility and its usability while still remembering its luxury roots. For one thing, it introduced the quick release straps, which make it really easy to change straps. AP recognizing a little bit that huge opportunity that there is in the aftermarket straps for this watch, wanting to get in on the action, but also wanting to make it easier to personalize your Offshore. The Offshore is all about being an expression of individuality. It's something that really shouts, I'm there. So what better way than to add quick release straps and give you even more ease when it comes to changing the straps. But the major change that really doubles down on the luxury element is introducing the open case back with their Calibre 4308. This 60-hour power reserve automatic three-hander is really a mission statement by being fully on display in this 300 meter water resistant watch, because it shows that amazing attention to detail and finishing on the movement. It even has a gold rotor that's been blackened. Or they could have cheaped out and put a blackened tungsten rotor. They still opted for the gold one that you would get on any other equivalent AP, but they blackened it to still give it that utilitarian look and feel. And that finishing and attention to detail is what extends out to the rest of the case and highlights really why this is a true luxury diver. Every single surface has been considered. The satin finish is all given directional brushing, so it means it's all going in a single direction and it's contrasting on purpose. It has these beautiful polished bevels that are so nicely polished you could swear this was platinum, not just steel. Little things like the accenting between the colors on the dial matching the colors on the strap, the colors on the dive bezel matching the color of the gasket in between the case and the bezel, or even how they've decided to finish the now ceramic crowns. Before these were rubber, but those were prone to flaking. Now they're ceramic, which is very difficult to work, but AP still took the time to make sure they had contrasting finish so that even little things like the crowns weren't lacking in that AP look and feel. At 42 millimeters, it is still of course a relatively big watch, but because of the way that the Offshore is shaped, it actually arcs downwards with the case. You'd be surprised how easy it is to fit this on the wrist. It's by no means a thin watch, but when you compare it to your average 300 meter dive watch, it's perfectly within what's acceptable, and the strap is extremely comfortable and secure on the wrist, so you know you have something that's well built whenever you look at it. In terms of legibility, it sacrifices nothing despite its luxury pretensions. It has that nice mega tapisserie dial, which does show you that you are getting the pumped up, more steroid-induced offshore, but it's still super legible courtesy of those white gold indices, all fully loomed. Even the dive timer is loomed as well. So I love how they've included a lot of these practicalities without sacrificing the luxury. But the important thing to note here is that it's always the luxury first on this watch. The practicalities just happen to all be there because AP wasn't going to shortchange you on them either. In terms of downsides, well, there are only really two that I can name. The first one is that the clasp, while very well finished and definitely matches the personality of this watch, it is just generally too big and too wide. And the only other criticism I have is, while yes, that internal bezel, it harks back to historical divers. Both JLC and IWC have used internal bezels in the past. It's nothing new. If anything, it is a bit of a heritage nod, but it's just a little bit impractical having to unscrew that to rotate it. Nothing really beats a standard rotating bezel, but then again, they are a little bit limited in what they can do with the bezel because, of course, the bezel is one of the most iconic parts of the Royal Oak design. But beyond that, I love this watch. I love how it commits to its concept. I love how it really is a reflection of AP, again, just inventing a segment. They did it first inventing the integrated steel sports watch. They did it again when they invented the oversized luxury sports watch with the Offshore. And then with the Offshore Diver, this was a pioneer in the field. And again, it shows that AP is a brand that is willing to experiment so they can invent segments. And that's not something you can say about every brand. For all the credit we give Rolex, at the end of the day, the last segments they invented were back in the 50s. But let me know in the comments below, what do you think of the Offshore Diver? What other true luxury divers can you name that don't have their history based in a tool watch, but instead were made from the onset to be luxury divers? I'd love to know your suggestions in the comments below. Of course, if you like this video, then make sure you like it and share it. If you want to see more pictures and infographics of watches, then make sure you follow me on Instagram at Shaluso. If you want to see more videos of watches, then make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell as well so you know when the next video comes out. And you can also check out my AP playlist if you want to see more Audemars Piguet content. But thanks for joining me on this quick exploration of, in my view, the defining luxury dive watch. And we'll catch you on the next video.